Hello, everyone. This message is for my fellow widowers across the United States in honor of Widowers Week, March 3rd through 7th. Many of you know some of the data and facts behind the widowers' experience, but I thought I'd just share a little bit with you. First off, there are almost 4 million widowers in the United States at this given moment, and there's almost 400,000 new widowers every year. And yet, the amount of services and books and help for all these folks is not there. The public needs to become more aware of what the widower experience is and how they can support and help us. So we can't afford to be complacent or quiet. We have to get out there and speak our own message. We do it first to each other. That's how I reached you through Widower Support Network. Herb Knowles' amazing work that he's done to be able to serve widowers around the world. And we have found each other and peer supported each other, mentored each other, written articles for each other, and so on. I mean, it's pretty amazing the amount of good work that's been done through this organization and the National Widowers Organization and a number of folks like me that get out there and write books and articles and try and share them with all of you. We are often in a difficult situation. Most of us are over the age of 55, and we are outnumbered by women anywhere from 4 to 1 to 8 to 1, depending upon our age and our geographical location. And when we go out to groups like the normal grief groups, they're co-ed. Again, we find ourselves outnumbered 7 to 1, 8 to 1, and it's kind of difficult for us to process our grief in that environment. We need the opportunity to speak to each other and to support each other. And let's face it, there's just some things we don't like to say in front of women, and what we go through is pretty painful and it's pretty personal. But, when I ran a men's grief group in Fort Collins, Colorado, I noticed that during the first meeting, most widowers would come to that first meeting, they'd be sitting like this and be kind of looking at us all like, well, I'm not going to talk. You can't help me, and then about a half hour, 45 minutes into the meeting, they were leaning forward and they were listening and they started talking and they started sharing and they started getting support. So often we don't understand how much we need somebody else in our lives, a friend, family member, you name it. Could be a workmate, to speak to support us. Because as I mentioned many times, every time we tell our story, the story of our wife, the story of our marriage, and yes, the story of her passing, we heal just a little bit. So we need to say it again and again and again. I had an experience just yesterday. My older sister is going through a medical challenge right now, and she lives way up in the Atascadero, Northern California, and she's a therapist. And so she's been in this business for years and years, and she's kind of alone up there and hadn't had anybody to talk to. We had a long conversation about the medical situation and what she was going through, and I offered as much love and support as I could. And at the end of it, I thought it was interesting that my sister, the therapist, said, this talking to somebody else, it's really helpful. So we all kind of resisted at first, but we really need to be willing to step forward and put ourselves out there and be willing. Yes, we'll be hurt once in a while. Yes, we'll do something embarrassing once in a while, even stupid. I did my share of those. I'm not pleading innocence. So it's worth the risk, though. You can build new friendships that will get you through this. You can strengthen your friendships, your family relationships, find workmates that you can talk to in ways you never thought possible. You may find old friends from 20, 30, 40 years ago that just kind of emerge out of nowhere and are just so much fun to talk to, and who knew your spouse, so you can really talk about her and her experience and your experience. One of the things we really like to do is to honor our wives. And one way to do that is by sharing the stories of all the funny and great things that they did. It's all important. and to keep it going for ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and so on, it's invaluable. And it is a good mission for us. So I invite you on this journey. I invite you to join us. I invite you to share and support each other and to help others. Because every time you help somebody else, that also helps you to heal just a little bit. So during this Widowers Week in the United States, let's honor it by helping each other. So thank you so much for listening to this message. I appreciate it, and goodbye.